and welcome to this very special conversation. Get ready to spice up your meal time with one and only Rujuta Diwekar's latest culinary masterpiece. India's celebrated nutritionist and food expert brings her signature blend of traditional wisdom and modern flair to her new book. It's right here with me. Serving up some delicious recipes and actionable tips to nourish both body and soul. With her trademark warmth and wit, Diwekar is sure to inspire a new generation of home cooks and health enthusiasts alike to take charge of their well-being and savor the joy of eating. She's right here in the NDTV studio. Rujuta, congratulations for this book.
Thank you very much.
And we have a very young audience right here also to get tips on some things that have made me very curious. So let's start.
Yeah, please.
You have emphasized on the importance of ghar ka khana. How do you suggest that people should blend traditional meals with modern, busy lifestyles?
I think traditional meals are really future-proof. You know, if you have a modern lifestyle, then nothing better than a quick roti, sabzi, dal, chawal. But I think one of the changes that we'll need to make, and now that we have a very young audience here, is that we will have to look at having gender-neutral kitchens in the future, because that's the only way to stay well-nourished and also to stay well on track with the economic empowerment. You know, when women have support of good food and an enabling environment at home, I think together we can get healthier and a lot more prosperous.
You know, one of the key takeaways, because you say, your book is also titled, Stop Overthinking, guys. All of you should stop overthinking and start eating. You're telling me to, you know, you're essentially challenging the demonetization of sugar.
Well, actually, demonetization in that sense of any single ingredient. Sugar doesn't make your food bad, salt doesn't make your food bad, fat doesn't make your food bad. What makes food bad is the whole packaging and processing and, you know, getting, like, monetizing children and their insecurities for a profit. I think that's the stuff that's terrible. So if you're young, if you're old, if you're middle-aged, stay away from food that has a long shelf life and eat food that is fresh, that is home-cooked, and that has a name in your local language, and you're sorted.
So when you say long shelf life, what does it actually mean? I mean there are a lot of
biscuits,
people who are
chips,
becoming
cookies.
vegan, they are going off gluten. I'm off gluten, for example. I've not had roti or maida for last 4 months. So what is long shelf life?
Long shelf life, matlab eating anything that is, you know, that can stay longer than a week. So if you are eating a biscuit and, you know, your biscuit stays fresh and crisp for 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, that's
in
something,
your body?
Yeah, I mean, on the shelf, then that's something that you should not be eating.
So you're essentially saying that I can have biscuit, but it has to be fresh biscuit.
I'm essentially saying that trade your biscuit for a matri or a roti, because even if you want to go gluten-free, you can have many, you know, you could have millet roti, for example. So that's a much better choice than eating anything that is packaged or processed. You know, I often say this, jitna packet khulta hai, utna pet fulta hai. So all of us want a flat stomach, so I think we need to be opening less packets. Good for our stomach, good for the earth.
Since we are talking about going, you know, off gluten or going vegan, there's a lot of these global, you know,
right,
one would say diet trends. You know, people are talking about intermittent fasting, keto diets, and many Indians are adopting these eating habits. Is this good for us? Because this anti-Indian also, I mean,
yeah,
not really culturally rooted.
Yeah. See, if you look at nutrition science, the nutrition science is firmly saying that you need to be eating according to your cultural preferences, according to your personal preferences, whether you're a vegetarian, vegan, non-vegetarian and stuff. And you need to be eating within your budgetary constraints so that you can have a good life, good health and a good body. You know, so that's the science part of it. The business part of it is that all of us need more protein than what we are currently getting, more magnesium, more collagen, more whatever else than what we currently get. And preferably we should be getting it out of pills, powders and packages or shakes. So that's how they profit out of the insecurities that we have out of our bodies. But we don't need to give up on our local seasonal traditional food, on our diverse eating practices to get thinner, fitter or healthier than what we currently are. So in the book I use this phrase, it's a Gujarati phrase, it's called Ek Lakh Ka 12,000, so it's like sometimes when you make a wrong investment in the share market, you can reduce 1 lakh rupees to 12,000. I think giving up on home cooked food for diet trends is Ek Lakh to 12,000.
That's spoken like a Gujarati.
Yeah. That's spoken like a Gujarati. I'm a Maharashtrian, but I come from, Mumbai. So, all the share market wisdom, or at least all the kahawats are a part of me.
So, from Alia to Kareena to several in Bollywood, several successful women in other walks of lives as well.
Yes.
And men, you are their go-to person when it comes to what to eat and what not to eat. You speak about intuitive eating. How important is that?
I think very important. Whether it is picking a career, picking a boyfriend or picking the right meal, you need to be listening to the voice inside, because you know better about what you need and you know it much better than any viral tweet or reel that you can ever look at. So I think intuitive eating is the highest form of courage that one can show today. Yeah, because otherwise, even when we are eating dal chawal, we want someone to endorse it. Yes, it's the right blend of hashtag amino acids and hashtag low carb and stuff, so go ahead and eat. But we should be eating without the need for validation of, any external agency. It has to be something that you like eating and that your dadi and nani approves of. I think that's all that you need.
So if my intuitive eating tells me that after having really managed my diet for a week, I'm having a bowl of ice cream at 11 p.m., it's all right?
Well, I think if it's a once in a while treat, by all means, it's fine. I think even when we are eating something as an indulgence, we need to know whether it's a celebration, a decision or desperation. So anything that you eat out of decision is welcome. You're eating an ice cream with your friends, you're all sharing it, wonderful. You're eating it out of desperation, कि अभी ice cream नहीं खाऊंगी तो किसी का सर फोड़ूंगी, then I think that's a problem.
Okay, let's move ahead. What role do you think the traditional ingredients, because nutrition or food is linked with tradition and culture, you emphasize on that being deeply rooted in who we are, then that traditional ingredients become important. So like millets and ghee.
And haldi and spices.
Haldi and turmeric.
And
all that play in modern, because I have seen Kareena Kapoor have a lot of ghee in her food.
Right. So the lot of ghee is in proportion to what she is eating. So it is khichdi with ghee. It is not a shot of ghee. So traditional ingredients are extremely important. They're therapeutic in nature when they come as a part of the whole package. So as a part of the whole package means that they come as a part of the meal. So the tadka, so the turmeric in your tadka, the ghee seasoning on your dal or on your chawal or on your on your khichdi is extremely important. That's when it really works well as an antioxidant or as a therapeutic agent or as something which can help prevent diseases. So traditional ingredients are important but you need to use them in the right combination, in the right proportion and in the right portion. That's what I talk about in the book too, because now we have a new trend which I call as cultural appropriation, where we are picking up even our native ingredients and we are pushing it into the market for a certain benefit. So you will find turmeric as, you will find turmeric pills for immunity. You may find something else like a flax seed for an omega-3 fatty acid and stuff like that. Again, a pill out of it. But these have always been a part of our diet through, through tadkas and chutneys and achars and regular meals, and I'm essentially making a case for these to be preserved in their real form and not get converted into a magic cure, because the magic is in the wholesomeness of our diet and not in singular ingredients.
Okay, I'm going to open the floor for questions before I come back to the idea of Commonsense Diet.
Yes.
That's making me very, very curious. But yes, please go ahead with the questions. Anybody has a question? Yes. Let's begin. Then I'm going to come that side.
So hello ma'am.
Hi.
As we all know what we have to eat, but another question comes in mind when there are times when students have to work overnight, or sometimes we sleep late. So is there any fixed time to take our diets, or can we sometimes keep it flexible?
You know, the point is that has made me often curious that people say that before the sunset, your last meal of the day should be over. For students, how does it work?
I think even for many working professionals like yours, probably that would be difficult. So, you know, a good commonsensical thing is to have your last meal about 3 hours before bedtime, because if you're going to be having a night that is up to 2 or 3 or 4, you know, like because of an occupational hazard, then you may need to eat all the way up to 12 or 1 or 2. Like sometimes I work with actors who are doing a night shift. I can't possibly tell them कि 7 बजे खाना बंद करो, then you're shooting until the next day 7 in the morning. But what you eat during that time is important. So eat in a way that fuels your body. So you can do nuts like cashews, you can do a glass of milk, you know, you could even do like roti, jaggery and ghee, because these will keep you light, alert and active to kind of study and assimilate everything that you've read. And they will also ensure that you're not feeling sleepy, groggy or craving for things that you're going to regret the next day. So it's really about making sensible choices, you know, and not doing anything extreme.
Okay, don't make... Yes, please, go ahead.
First of all, hello ma'am.
Hi.
My question is this, that like you emphasized on ghar ka khana. So we are staying away from our homes, so
Yes,
there is no ghar ka khana. So could you please suggest something that we can make with limited time and resources?
So I think dal chawal, of course, is something that you can make with very limited time and resources. There are other things that you can make. Like one of the things that I always say to hostel students is look at, you know, look for a good auntie in your neighborhood who is sending you ghar ka khana. And then even within ghar ka khana, for quick snacks, there is peanuts, there is matri, there is khakra, there is thepla, there are rotis which stay for 2 or 3 days. You know, so go for those kind of choices, and of course fresh fruit, because then those are quick and easy and nutritious. And don't kind of do the whole let me go on an app and quickly order, or let me just do the momos and the noodles and stuff like that. So anything that gets made in just 2 minutes is bad for you. Food needs investment of time. That's the only way you can actually get healthy. It's like if you need to study something, if you invest time, you know it for the rest of your life. It stays with you. It's the same thing with nutrients. You know, you want it to be a part of your life, you need to spend time learning to cook, cooking, eating and sharing it with everyone. And this is a little off topic, but I always have like a, you know, tip to share, especially with all young girls, that never ever date a boy who can't even make dal chawal, you know. So I think if you're looking for like even a dating tip, you need to be dating men who can cook. That should be the bare minimum.
No, but what about men who can make at least Maggi?
Ditch them, you know, because that's not they're highly processed people. You don't want to be with that kind of a person.
All right, let's move.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
As your book talks about stop overthinking, start eating, can you please suggest a small balanced diet in order to stay fit and healthy?
You know, you don't need me. You can go on any of the apps and they will rattle these kind of things, you know, a chat GPT, AI and stuff. But what we need to understand is that we need real intelligence, intuition and common sense to be able to plan a good diet for ourselves, and not some kind of an artificially intelligent plan for the diet. But if you asked me what is it that you could quickly eat, I would say when you wake up in the morning, start your day with like fruits or nuts. Don't go towards chai or coffee. That's for later. So, you know, eat something first. 15-20 minutes ke baad mein you can have a tea or coffee. Eat a wholesome breakfast, poha, upma, idli, dosa, paratha, any one of these, but make sure that you've had a breakfast, because then you will be attentive in class. Otherwise, you think that your teacher is boring you to death, but actually you are so low on fuel that you're going to be feeling sleepy even if there was an entertainment show that you were watching, or, you know. So eat and then go for your class. Between your breakfast and lunch, have a handful of peanuts or cashews, especially if you are highly stressed or going through a breakup, because that allows you to kind of reset your mood and your brain. For lunch, do something easy, roti, sabzi or dal chawal, just one of those things. In the evening between 4 and 6, pick up something wholesome. So I don't know what you guys like, but it could be matri, it could be a banana, it could be a cheese sandwich, you know, something which is nice and wholesome, or a roti from lunch is what you could do at that time. And then in the night, again, a simple dinner by about 8 or 9 o'clock. If you ask me what would be an ideal diet, I would think that is what it is.
Diet usually is supposed to be linked to age. A woman or a man in particular, you know, 30s, 20s, you can't have the same kind of meal that in your 40s or 50s. How is that linked?
It's not really linked, you know. I mean, on the one hand, we are talking about living forever and being forever young, and 60 being the new 30 and stuff. But what does happen with age is that our appetite begins to shrink. You know, when you're young, when you're this age and you're thinking, you know, 10 chole bhature khaunga, you can. You know, when you're 50 and you just think chole bhature, you begin to get indigestion just at the thought. And if you are in good shape, maybe you can eat one chola bhatura and feel happy. But with age, our ability to eat a lot kind of begins to go down. So while you're still young, don't be on extreme diets. Eat everything and eat it within measure. I think, you know, that's really the way to go about your life. But no, you don't need a different diet just because you're older.
Aging.
Yeah, or you're
okay.
aging. Aging
Pass on
is
the mic.
natural. Yeah.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
I just want to ask you that sometimes people start dieting, but they avoid water also.
Yeah.
Does water affect our health
Well, you know,
during diet?
whether it is water or whether it is a fresh fruit, everything adds to our body weight. And so many times we mistake being healthy with being lesser on the scale. And I think that's where most extreme practices come about, like not even drinking water. So one of the first things that we need to realize is that our weight is an imperfect clinical measure of our health. Different girls and different boys will have to be of a different weight to be equally healthy or to be optimally healthy. And the same girl every 10 years of her life will need to be at a different weight again to be optimally healthy. So weight cannot be the only measure for assessing our health. We need to also look at our waist to hip measurement, our energy levels, our sleep quality, our moods, our exercise compliance, our periods, and only then make decisions about what to eat and what not to eat. So a short answer would be, should I avoid water if I'm losing weight? No, you shouldn't even be like chasing weight loss as a number. You chase good health, weight loss is something that just follows.
Hello ma'am, I
Hi.
have a question. Since we all, like most of us are students, we stay in hostel PG, and as you said, home food, it's like probably impossible for us to get homemade foods.
Yeah.
So basically we go to Instagram, basically social media, to scroll and get what they are showing us. And because of peer pressure or anything you can say, most of us follow what the social media shows us, like ghee and water, lemon and water, and many others. So what do you think, like we should follow that, or we should just ignore all that and do
Apple vinegar cider in the morning.
You know, yeah, all of those things. If any one of those things worked, Myra, I wouldn't be in this profession. You know, so whether it is lemon water, whether it is apple cider vinegar, whether it is any kind of shots of seeds and spices and stuff as first thing in the morning, that's not the stuff that works. In fact, even in my book, The Commonsense Diet, I write about social media, because from the first time, I wrote my first book in 2009. It's called Don't Lose Your Mind, Lose Your Weight. This is my 10th book, The Commonsense Diet. And the main shift that has happened is the influence of social media on the way we are eating, which is also why in countries like Australia, social media is banned for kids under 16, because what social media algorithms really do is that they even check things like how many times are you deleting the selfie that you've clicked of yourself. And if you've been deleting selfies very often, they know that you are insecure about the way you look, and then they start targeting you for all of the weight loss and skin and those kind of ads, and which is how you'll end up seeing, I'm sure a lot of these lemon shots and stuff may not even be people that you're following. These are recommended reels that just play on your Instagram the minute you go on that app.
That's the algorithm.
Yeah, that's
which
the
pushes
algorithm.
it, yes.
Yeah. So, my main recommendation would be limit the amount of time that you spend on Instagram, and surely, on any kind of social media, and surely don't believe everything that you see on it, and surely don't believe just don't be on it post dinner, I think, because that's when you're vulnerable, you're missing home, you're stressing about so many things. You rather complete your assignments than be on social media. But none of these things work. In fact, ideally what we should have is social media influencer, some kind of regulation where if anyone's putting out this kind of info, they should say that it is sponsored content versus really saying, oh, listen, I did this for 21 days and I'm thin. So if you see a transformation picture, if you see, a before after picture, if you see any of those things which are luring you, say that you don't like this post.
Disinterested.
So that you see lesser and lesser of
that. Okay, I have, we have to wrap up this conversation, and my last question to you is, of course, about lot of chat which is around what is Commonsense Diet, because that's the title of the book.
Yeah.
2 tips that you will say. What is Commonsense Diet?
Commonsense Diet is a diet that you can live and die with, So something that you do from 0 to 100 is the Commonsense Diet. Something which keeps you grounded and allows you to fly with all of your aspiration and ambition, keeps you well fueled. That's the Commonsense Diet. A Commonsense Diet is diverse for each one of us. It changes even with season. And so that's the first thing. And the second thing would be, it has to be a diet that has a name in your mother tongue or the region that you live in.
That's beautifully put. Thank you so much. Rujuta Diwekar's latest book is right here. And for all those who are interested in knowing that they should eat and not overthink, this is your destination. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming and sharing your tips.
Thank you.